Hey, you guys. Okay. So we were talking in Morning Metaphys this morning, and this really cool idea came out, and I had to share it with you. So, the importance of loving ourselves is, I think, obvious to anybody who's watching this video. We know the two great commandments: love God, love your neighbor as yourself. And love your neighbor as yourself is all through the New Testament. So, what does it look like to love yourself? And most of us, I don't know, I don't want to say most of us, but I think a lot of us don't do it as much as we could. We don't do it as well as we could. And there are many in sort of spiritual communities all over the world who, like, it's kind of an all or nothing proposition. Like, either I'm spiritual and I love God and I love my neighbor as myself and I'm following those two commandments, or I'm not and I suck. It's like, can we find a happy medium? Can we find that place in the middle? And so this thing came out this morning. It's like, when we learn how to ride a bike, we ride a bike. Well, we used to. I guess they do it differently now, where they don't do any pedals and they just kind of put their feet on the ground. But when we used to ride the bike, we'd have the pedals on, but we'd have training wheels. And we'd ride the bike with training wheels until we felt we got the balance. And then you take the training wheels off and then you ride. It's like, we need to ride the bike even if we need the training wheels. Like, don't not ride because you can't do it perfectly the first time. It's like, no, I'm not going to ride. No, I'm not going to love myself. I'm not going to be spiritual. I'm not going to love God and pursue this path of spirituality because I just can't do it. I don't know. And I'm too tied to all these limitations and all this stuff in matter. It's like, no, we get to ride the bike. Don't not ride the bike just because you don't want to use the training wheels. Ride the bike. Use the training wheels and ride the bike. That's the point. Get on the bike and ride. Don't avoid it because you don't do it perfectly. Just saying. That's like pausing for a moment there. Okay, there's this really wonderful quote, and I quote this book all the time because it is just such an amazing book. And if you haven't read Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, I invite you to buy it. Like, go on Amazon and buy it. Get the authorized edition, whatever. Science and Health. So there's a quote in Science and Health that says, emerge gently from matter into spirit. Emerge gently from matter into spirit. Think not, and she always writes very poetically, think not to thwart the spiritual ultimate of all things, but come naturally into spirit through better health and morals, and as a result of spiritual growth. Well, you're not going to experience spiritual growth unless you're riding that spiritual bike, unless you're practicing every day to be a little bit more spiritual, to think a little bit more spiritually, to turn away from the material limitation and a little bit more towards God, to turn away from the fear and towards the love. It's like, unless we're in the habit of practicing this daily, we're on that, riding that spiritual bike, even if it is with training wheels at the moment. If we're not in the habit of practicing, we're not going to get better at it. Like, come naturally into spirit through better health and morals. Well, what does that look like? What does it look like to demonstrate better health? If God is my health and I can't be sick, and yet I'm feeling really sick, what does it look like to demonstrate God is my health and I'm not sick? Put on the training wheels and ride the bike. Do it with a little bit of support. Call a spiritual practitioner or follow some basic mental and spiritual guidelines, like being a little more disciplined in thought or being a little bit more balanced in thought, which then will translate into body. Like, start incorporating and embracing, expressing the qualities that are more godlike. Love yourself. I know this is sounding very basic, but I need to hear it. So I figure if I need to hear it, maybe somebody else needs to hear it too. I just love the idea of, we don't get to take a kind of spiritual bypass on the problem by saying, oh, no, I can't do that, so I'm not going to get on that bike, that spiritual bike. Like, I'm not going to get on that path because I don't know how to do that now. It's like, get on the bike and ride and put on the training wheels, or put on the training wheels and then get on the bike and ride. Like, ride the bike. Don't just avoid riding the bike because you don't know how. Get on the bike, ride it, use the training wheels as long as you do, and then as soon as you're done using those training wheels, take them off and ride successfully. So if you can, if you know how to translate this message into a spiritual, metaphysical idea, good for you. It's kind of like telling parables. And if you get it, because you understand the nuance, great. If you don't, it's just a nice little story. Ride the bike with training wheels until you can learn how to ride the bike without them. So there you go. If you like this, share it out. Let me know where you're watching from, because we have people. It's really fun to see you all over the world watching. And, share, and definitely subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel. And this was yet another time when this really great idea came out in Morning Metaphys. There's always some goofy analogy that comes through that I just like. I really like this ride of the spiritual bike one. So if you haven't tried Morning Metaphys, you are welcome to try it for free. And I offer this to everybody all the time. And if you haven't tried it, try it. Go to getfreesupport.com and sign up for the free trial. You can also go to my website, thischoicematters.co, and you can see the free trial, and you can get the download for the intuition thing, and there's all sorts of stuff. But, I work as a spiritual practitioner, and I pray for people every day. That's my job. I work for God. I like working for God. And I support people in seeing their true God-like self and letting go of all this material limitation that the world is throwing at us and shoving down our throats all the time. It's like, no, we are immune to that. We are the head and not the tail. We are made to have dominion over all of these false beliefs that the world is throwing at us. So we get to claim that. We get to claim the authority of that because we are at one with God, because God is the only power. It's not us personally. It's not us personally. There is no personal power. God is the only power. And we get to honor that by demonstrating it, by yielding to spirit instead of matter. So I love this stuff, as you can probably tell. Lots of love. See you next time. Have a great day. And go ride that spiritual bike, even if you have to do it with training wheels.